Hello everybody, my name is Noah Taff and welcome to my review of WWE Stomping Grounds. So this is going to go down as kind of a classic WWE pay-per-view in the sense that it's going to go down as a pretty good pay-per-view that at the end of the day left a sour taste in most fans' mouths with the main event. It was great though, besides that. Pretty much everything else but that was really good. But that main event was Jesus. But anyway, let's get into what happened. So, looking at the match times here, I just realized that no matches tonight went under 10 minutes. All 9 matches went at least 10 minutes. It's a fun fact here. This first match went 11 minutes and 20 seconds. It was a pre-show between Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa, and Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight Championship. Between this and the United States title match, in my opinion, for the best match of the night, that's not a surprise. But per usual, they really killed it. I questioned the booking in the sense that last pay-per-view at Money in the Bank, not counting Saudi Arabia, what was it? Daivari? Yeah, Daivari and Nese had one of the weakest Cruiserweight title matches in a long time. And they put that on the main card. But then this goes right back to the pre-show. I questioned the booking there, but I questioned the booking of a lot of things. Everybody got their shit in. Nobody got weak. The crowd was great for it. I don't know if they paid that audience off or what. I mean, it was a smaller crowd because pay-per-view didn't sell well, but it was a great crowd night. I really got to commend the crowd because they were fantastic. Really, really lively crowd, and a lively crowd can add a lot to a pay-per-view, and they really added a lot to this pay-per-view, especially in one match, and we'll talk about that later. Tozawa was really over with this crowd as well. He got a nice little pop when he came out. He was definitely the most over of the three. Everybody again got their shit in, but at the end it was Drew Gulak who won the title as it should have been. He should have gotten this title a long time ago. He's working a new serious ass-kicker gimmick now. It was the perfect time to give him the belt. Tony Nese was an alright champion, but he couldn't really live up to what Buddy Murphy had done with the belt, and I think it's time to bring it back to a heel, and I think Gulak is the perfect person. But again, Nese didn't look weak, Tozawa didn't look weak, even though Tozawa took the pin, and that's key because Nese didn't even get pinned, so he automatically gets a rematch. So we'll probably see Gulak versus Nese at Extreme Rules, I think, is next pay-per-view in 3 weeks. To start the main card, Becky Lynch defends the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. This match was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot better than their Money in the Bank match, mainly because it got a lot more time. I think at Money in the Bank they only got like 6 minutes or something, because maybe 8, just because Becky had another match directly after. But they got 11.5 minutes for this one, and they put on a good show. You know, Lacey's getting better. She's still a little green in some spots. You can see, like, there's one spot where Becky was trying to propel herself off the ropes, but Lacey was, like, in the wrong spot, so Becky had to stop, and it looked like it was Becky's fault, but Lacey wasn't placed properly. It's just little things like that she has to get down. Like, for instance, I don't know if I've ever seen Asuka fuck up anything in her life, just because Asuka's one of the most perfectly fluid people I've ever seen in the ring. But, again, Lacey's getting better, Becky's great. This match made them both look good. It went on first for reasons that you'll see later. Becky was pretty over with the crowd, that's not a surprise, and Becky won with the disarmor. It really looked like Lacey was going to win for a little bit there, but she didn't. Becky wins. Becky wins with disarmor. Lacey tapped. Lacey tapped like immediately when she got in the disarm, but it's fine because she had broken out of it earlier. It reminded me of like Armageddon 2008 when Cena locked the STF in on Jericho and Jericho tapped like immediately. That's what it reminded me of. But the right person won. Even though Lacey's getting better, she is not at all ready for that belt. And it would have been the wrong type of heat for her to get if she got that belt. And we will talk about the wrong type of heat again a little bit later. But good match, better than the Money in the Bank match, and good win for Becky. Up next in a fun tag team match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The New Day, being represented by Big E and Xavier Woods. This match got 11 minutes and 5 seconds. Basically, this match started hot and heavy with what's his name? Kevin super kicked Xavier like 4 times. They beat the hell out of Xavier. And I guess Xavier had drunken his John Cena juice because he kicked out of everything. He kicked out of 4 super kicks. He kicked out of the Blue Thunder Bomb. He kicked out of other stuff. But basically this whole match was Xavier getting his ass kicked until Big E tagged him for the hot tag. Xavier got back in. Big E got back in. I think... Did Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb? Oh yeah, they hit the haluva kick on Xavier at one point and threw him into a pop-up powerbomb. Owens does it sitting down now, sit-down pop-up powerbomb. But Big E broke off the pin, and that's the point where I'm like, oh, okay, Big E's gonna or New Day are going to win, unfortunately, because Owens and Zayn really needed the win, so I'm like, damn it. But then Big E ended up doing a spear for the ropes on Sammy to the outside, and Woods was on the top rope, going for, I think, a dive or whatever, but Kevin knocked him off, and then Kevin hit the stunner. Woods sold it beautifully, and Owens and Zayn get a clean win. Thank God for that, because they had been getting their ass kicked lately. They really, really needed this win. And yeah, I'm just glad they got it. Up next, what in my opinion was probably the best match of the night, Ricochet versus Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. Joe was dominating most of this match, and he was dominating most of the match to the point where I'm like, Ricochet is going to win, ain't he? Or he kind of has to win. You know, it's like it was dominating to the point where Ricochet had to win, really, to save face, seems like. Because if Joe just beat him clean, then that was going to be like, ugh. But Ricochet, I remember near the end, got out of the clutch, went for the 630. He missed, though, and it looked like Joe was going to, get him. I think he was going for the Uranagi or whatever. But then Ricochet hit his double-kneed codebreaker, his one-kneed codebreaker. Went for the 630 again. I'm like, okay, he's going to miss. Joe's going to catch him in the clutch. But he didn't. He hit it, and Ricochet beats Samoa Joe clean to win the United States Championship. And he didn't even get jumped after the match. He got to enjoy his victory. Wow. So I think everybody who was really worried about Ricochet on the main roster just breathed a huge sigh of relief, for now at least, because that's big. That definitely shows they have a lot of faith in him. He beat Joe clean. He got his moment. It was a great match, as expected to be. He's the United States champion, Ricochet is, and he's only been on the main roster since, around the Rumble? So only half a year? It's good. That's good. I like it a lot. I'm really happy for him. He deserved it. And yeah, right decision. Not a decision I expected to be made tonight. I expected this to go on a little bit longer, and I expect them to have an actual feud. But maybe they won't have an actual feud, because later on, Ricochet was taking pictures backstage, doing his photo shoot thing with the United States Championship, and he was interrupted by the club. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. Looks like they're all back together. They took a couple pictures with Ricochet. Maybe they thought he was Finn Balor in disguise. I don't know. Is Finn hurt? He wasn't even on the show. He wasn't booked. He didn't show up. He didn't do nothing. He just wasn't there. I don't know. But they also told Ricochet, AJ did, that he will see him tomorrow night on Raw, which means probably two things. One, maybe three things. One, AJ's cleared. Two, we might have a U.S. title match on Raw tonight. And three, the club's back together. And four, maybe four things, is AJ turning heel? Kinda hope so. He's been babyface for 2.5 years. I think it's... No. Yeah, 2.5 years. Yeah. He turned the night after Mania 33. So, yeah, he's been a babyface a long time. So, and I think it's about time to turn him back. I really do. Not 2.5 years, more like 2 years and a couple months. But you get my point. He's been babyface a long time. Long enough where I think he needs to return. I don't know if they're putting the club back together to try to convince Gallows and Anderson to stay. I'm pretty sure. Their contracts are apparently up in September. I'm pretty sure they're gone. But yeah, this should be interesting. AJ versus Ricochet tonight should be incredible. Also, after the match, Ricochet got a moment backstage with Dad H, and everybody clapped for him and stuff. Charlotte was back there. Spoiler alert for the upcoming match, Charlotte did not interfere. So, that was weird. I expected to see her at all. I expected to see her at some point, but we didn't. So, but yeah, Ricochet got a little hug from Triple H, and looks like they have faith in him, man. Let's see where this goes. Alright, now we come to, in my opinion, what was the high point of the night, and this is where it peaked, probably, and it was pretty much the middle of the show. It was Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan versus Heavy Machinery for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We got 3 sets of tag titles, and only one of them being defended. Iconics weren't doing anything. Happy birthday, Billy Kay. And the Revival weren't doing anything, because fuck the Revival, I guess. This match got a good amount of time, 14 minutes and 25 seconds. I don't know if it was supposed to get that much time, but this was in Daniel Bryan's home state. And turns out Daniel Bryan in Washington is a lot like CM Punk in Chicago. He was over as all fuck. And this match, obviously because of that, they weren't able to tell the story they were supposed to. Or to me, they wanted to. Because Heavy Machinery is supposed to be a babyface. They got the fuck boot out of him. And once I saw they were booing Heavy Machinery and just how incredibly godlike over Bryan was. Hell, they were cheering Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan was literally over by association. Because of that, I'm like, oh, they can't have Heavy Machinery win. No, that they can't win here. It's got to be down the line. It's got to be at Extreme Rules at SummerSlam, whatever. They cannot do it here because it doesn't fit. And luckily they didn't. They had a really good match. These two teams seem to have good chemistry together, which is a good thing because I think we're going to have this match probably again at Extreme Rules. It really looked like Heavy Machinery was going to pull it out. I think Tucker went outside the ring to take out Rowan and then went back in the ring. But then the master of the small package himself, Daniel Bryan, got Tucker, and you guessed it, a small package, rolled him up, and Bryan and Rowan retain. Again, it's technically clean, but he kind of got him, like, a small package. He didn't really, like, knock him out and pin him, So, roll-ups aren't technically dirty, but they're not, like, strong, clean wins. It leaves the window open. So I think we'll definitely see this at the next pay-per-view. Crowd, again, was incredible night. We're incredibly hot for Bryan. They were chanting incredibly hilarious things like, please recycle and buy a Prius. They were fantastic. And great match, and again, this was probably the high point of the night. So up next, the shortest match tonight, and the only match to go under 11 minutes. This match got 10 minutes and 35 seconds. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross. It was alright. It's just, these two never seem like they have great chemistry with one another, if I'm being honest. I don't think they're bad wrestlers. I think Alexa's gotten a lot better. She looks very fluid. That's one thing I didn't see from her a couple years ago. She looked good, but not fluid, kind of like Lacey now. But she's gotten a lot better. She's so much more fluid. And she still took that spot where Becky, like, sunset flips her into, like, the turnbuckle, and it's like, she's had, like, 3 concussions, man. Why does she keep taking that? But I don't know, like there is a limit on how many concussions you can have in WWE, That's why RVD can't work for WWE anymore. He tried to come back like a couple years ago, and they told him, you've had too many concussions for us to hire you anymore. So RVD can still wrestle. He just can't wrestle in WWE anymore. That's why he's in TNA now. And I don't watch TNA. I don't know how that's going, but I imagine he's doing all right. But it was all right, but it's just like these two, you never really expect anything exciting because they never really deliver anything that exciting because they just don't have perfect chemistry with one another. The finish came where Bayley dove to the outside and Nikki pushed Bliss out of the way, and Bayley dove on Nikki. Bliss got Bayley back in the ring, was going for Twisted Bliss, but then Nikki went in the ring, tried to go after Bayley. That allowed Bayley to go to the top rope and tried to get Alexa for top rope belly to belly suplex to belly. Terrible finish, but I guess it's over. So she needs a new. Even she admits. I remember seeing a thing with her once where they asked her what the worst finish in WWE was. She's like, probably mine. But and then she can't really use the elbow much anymore because Kairi Sane does it like incredible, and hers just looks fucking weak in comparison, especially to Dreams as well. Elias has a good elbow as well. So Bayley just needs a good finish, but. Alexa raked her eyes and she fell down, and I think she went for Twisted Bliss again, but missed, and then Bayley got her in a belly to belly. Bayley beats her clean. Hopefully that's the end of that, because while they've had a good feud and they've had good promos, they just don't have much in-ring chemistry, and their matches are nothing really to get excited over. And also, Alexa's supposed to be on Raw. I know the brand split's dead, but she's still supposed to be on Raw. So I don't know where this goes with Alexa and Nikki. I kind of hope they don't do the break that early, but I think Bayley moves on to Charlotte now. So this is the point in the night where the show's kind of started to get. So up next, the big dog, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre with Shane McMahon. Match got 17 minutes and 20 seconds. It's not that it was a bad match. It wasn't. I actually think it was better than their Mania match, but it's like, we all know how this is going to go down, man. Everybody knows, Not one person was surprised at this. Shane was a factor throughout the match. Roman was trying to chase him. I remember early in the match, Roman did his over-the-top rope dive onto both of them, and he dove. So he got so much height on it that he actually almost overshot fucking McIntyre. McIntyre's like 6'7" or something. But, and they got a lot of time, and while it was better than their Mania match, we all knew how this was going to end. Drew didn't even hit the Claymore. Shane took out the ref at one point and hit the coast to coast, and Roman kicked out of it because, of course, he did. Like, oh, Drew McIntyre is going to beat, with a coast to coast. At least, at the very least, they did solidify that Drew's finish is stronger than Shane's. Not that wasn't obvious, but at least they solidified that, because Shane was able to beat Roman after Drew hit his finish. Drew was not able to beat Roman after Shane hit his finish. At least we're acknowledging that Shane's finish is shitty compared to Drew McIntyre's. I'm glad that's a thing, at the very least, because nobody's kicked out of Drew's finish, to my knowledge. But yeah, and then, bro, they both bounce off the ropes and Roman hit a spear. And won. Big dog wins. So, it's not that it was a bad match, but, I mean, we all know how this is going down. And to add on top of that, Drew really needed this win, and he just didn't get it. I mean, what kind of message does that send? Shane McMahon, even with Drew's interference, can still beat Roman Reigns. Like, but Drew can't beat him twice, you know, even with help the second time. Like, god damn it. Alright, up next, the longest match of the night's 20 minutes right on the button. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship inside a steel cage. Now, this is definitely the most controversial match of the night in terms of opinion, because it seems like a lot of people really liked this match, a lot of people really didn't. I've been looking on Twitter, people were really, really conflicted about this match with each other. Excuse me. And here's the thing, I didn't think it was a bad match. I didn't. I just thought that these two, considering they've been wrestling each other for 10 years, were capable of more. I thought that these two together were capable of putting on a better match together. And they didn't. They were capable of putting on a better match than this. I don't necessarily think it was a bad match, but they were capable of better. And this match did go on a long time. For the first half of the match, it was basically felt like a normal match, or at the very least a basic cage match. It turned on. Now, one thing I will give this match major points for is creativity, because they turned towards the end, maybe last 5 minutes, Ziggler got in an ankle lock and had that bitch on Kofi for a good 2 minutes. Kofi was trying to get the ropes to break, but he couldn't because it's a steel cage match, which didn't matter, I guess, in Miz versus Shane at Money in the Bank, where there was a rope break because Kyoto was in Shane's pocket. By the way, Kyoto was a ref for this match, too. It was the same fucking ref from Money in the Bank. But now, conveniently, the guy who totally wasn't in Shane's pocket conveniently remembers that there's no rope breaks in a fucking steel cage match. Now he remembers. It's good for you, Kyoto. God damn it, Kyoto. But he's getting old. But Kyoto's getting old. He's reaching Earl Hebner status. God damn it. But anyway, basically in the latter part of this match, what became the selling point was the door. They were trying to get out of the door. Ziggler was really close. Kofi pulled him back in. Ziggler actually super kicked Kofi so hard once that Kofi almost fell out the door. Ziggler tried to go out feet first. Kofi dragged him back in. And then Ziggler was still trying to go out. And then Ziggler kicked him off. Ziggler kicked Kofi off and was like, okay, that's it. He's going to get off. And big props to whoever came up with this finish, because this finish was tremendous. Kofi dives through the ropes over Ziggler onto the floor and wins the match. It was tremendous. It looked like it really hurt. It probably hurt Kofi a lot, but this ties in and it works into the character that is Kofi Kingston, because the character that is Kofi Kingston has been historically creative. I mean, the man has a whole gimmick based off the Royal Rumble match and his creativity there. So this ties perfectly into the character that is Kofi Kingston, finding ways to survive. In this case, finding ways to win and finding ways to retain the WWE Championship. Is this feud over now? Probably, and I hope so, because this match really didn't do enough to make me want to see it again. I think Kofi needs to move on to what? I don't know, but something else. And now we get to that main event. So, here's the thing. I predicted it correctly right. Corbin's special ref was Lacey Evans. Crowd was immediately pissed when they saw this. And here's the thing about Baron Corbin that you gotta understand. It was not the kind of piss like, oh, boo, you're such a heel. No, this is genuine dislike. This is X-Pac's heat. This is go-away heat that this man has. The only difference between Baron Corbin and X-Pac is Sean Waltman can actually wrestle. That's the difference. Because here's the thing. With, guys, you look at past guys like Tommaso Ciampa in NXT, or guys like Edge in the 2000s. When Edge, Edge was hated by the audience because of what an incredible heel he was, but he still had a connection with them. And when he retired, people were so sad that Edge retired because of the connection he has with them. When Tommaso Ciampa broke his neck, probably the best heel in the history of NXT, Tommaso Ciampa, when he broke his neck, everyone was incredibly sad because of the connection he has with them. If Baron Corbin were to leave the company tomorrow, the majority of the audience would not give a shit. Within a year, nobody would remember who he is, because he does not have that connection with the audience. He does not have that heel to audience in terms of wrestling connection. They genuinely do not like this guy because he's not very talented and he's getting main event opportunities over other people that deserve it. And they legitimately want him to go away. And if he were to leave the company tomorrow, people would throw fucking block parties. You know, he does not have the right kind of heat. But in WWE, or in wrestling in general, it seems, the rule is the only bad reaction is no reaction. And he definitely gets a reaction. People care enough to react to him. They care enough to react to him even if they don't have a connection with him. And to Vince, that means he has a connection. He has a connection to get a reaction, but he doesn't have a connection that the audience actually genuinely respects him, because they don't. So that's why he keeps getting pushed, even though, again, he's not a great wrestler, he's not a great promo, but he, you know, there's nothing special about him compared to some other people who you know, have been trotting in a mid card. Like, people would love to see someone like Samoa Joe get this push and get this match with Rollins. But no, it has to be Corbin. So, back to the match. This match went 18 minutes and 25 seconds, and boy, did it feel like it. And that's another criticism I have, too, of Kofi versus Ziggler. It was long, and it felt long, you know? So, oh, God. So, basically, this match revolved around Corbin kicking Rollins' ass. Whenever Rollins got an opportunity to get offense, Lacey would screw him. He powerbombed Corbin through the table, which is a really brutal spot. Corbin went up on his neck, and Lacey changed the rules of no countouts. He went for a pin. Lacey went for a slow count. You know, Corbin beat him up with a chair. Lacey changed the rules to no DQ. And then Lacey slapped Rollins, slapped him again, and then, you know, Rollins went back after Corbin, and Lacey hit him in the nuts. Corbin hit the end of days. Looks like that's it. But finally, Becky Lynch ran out and beat up Lacey, and then a real ref ran in. It was John Cone, Nicholas's dad, just like the last pay-per-view. Rollins hits a curb stomp, and Seth Rollins retains, has a nice moment with Becky Lynch after the match, and they're all a couple. Never tell the WWE you're in a relationship. Like, unless you're getting married, just don't tell them. You know, and also the crowd obviously was not happy during this match. They chanted things that ranged from Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, very loud AEW chant, stuff of that nature. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Becky, you know, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And again, this match really leaves a sour taste in your mouth at the end of the show, because it was a good show. That's the frustrating about this. It's like Hell in a Cell all over again, or Money in the Bank even. Hell in a Cell last year, Money in the Bank this year. Those were both good shows, fucking sullied by the ending. Not even the last match of those. Those ones, it wasn't even the last match. It was just the ending. This, it was the whole last match. It's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. We were so close. This throwaway pay-per-view, which they barely sold any tickets to. There was only like 6,000 people there. But even those still had a great crowd, and it was a good show up in that point, and they just find a way to fuck it up again. You know, it's so frustrating. It really is so frustrating. But overall, despite that main event, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. It was a very solid show. It was a lot better than it had any right to be, because it was supposed to be just a throwaway show. High points, obviously the crowd in the Daniel Bryan match. Ricochet surprisingly winning the title clean. Becky versus Lacey being better than it was supposed to be. Gulak won the title. What else happened? Kofi's escaping the cage spot. Those were the high points. Low points, obviously the entire main event. Big Dog triumphs again. Yeah, you know. Kofi versus Ziggler being capable of more. Yeah. So, overall, solid show. Solid. Now we go to Extreme Rules. And one thing, unfortunately, we get from this fucking thing is these feuds are going to continue, aren't they? Like, You're telling me Ricochet Joe doesn't get to continue? And it might not, considering the AJ thing, but Becky and Lacey continues again? Is Lacey really going to get another title match? Even though Becky's beat her clean twice? Is Corbin really going to get another title match even though Rollins beat him clean twice? Like, what the fuck, dude? I don't get it. I really don't. We're coming up on SummerSlam, man. Come on, man. Anyway, I don't know. Where's Wyatt? Like, that's what I want to know. R-Truth didn't even show up tonight either. Come on, man. They replayed the thing of him rolling up Maverick at his wedding, but he didn't actually show up. Damn it. Anyway, we'll see him tomorrow. But Ricochet, also today, actually, as you're watching this. That should be fun. Ricochet, AJ, if they're actually having a match, should be tremendous. I imagine it'll either end with an AJ heel turn, or Joe will get involved in the match and maybe set up a triple threat between the three for the US title at Extreme Rules. That should be fun. But, yeah. Solid pay-per-view. Ending put a damper on it, but solid pay-per-view. A lot better than it had any right to be. As for what's coming up future on this channel, I'm still working on the Godzilla and Marvel series. Those are coming soon. Fighter Fest, AEW Fighter Fest is in like 5 days. This coming Saturday. So that'll be great. Can't wait for that. It's for free on the Bleacher Report Live app, in the US at least. Can't speak for other countries. Might be on Fight TV. But that is going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my review for Stomping Grounds. Hopefully it's the last pay-per-view called Stomping Grounds, because that's a stupid name. But yeah, if you want to follow any of my social media links, they are all in the description. My name is Noah Taft. Again, it's my review of Stomping Grounds 2019. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.